Hey guys, well, I'm trying this live thing out. Maybe we'll see, somebody might show up. If you do, I hope you say something so I can see that you're here. Um, but I'm gonna try this out. Be patient with me. And if you're here, there we go. There's Incense Shop. Hey buddy, I see how this is gonna work. Okay, so Miss Robyn from Big Bear's Homestead is in need of some kitchen tongs. She's asked and asked and asked me to make her some for a while now. And I've been kind of putting it off because, well, one, because I'm lazy, but two, because I don't think I've ever made a pair of kitchen tongs before. I've made plenty of blacksmith's tongs. So we're going to try this out and see how it goes. And y'all get to come along for the ride. Let's lower that down just a bit. So I've got a little stand here acting like a third hand, which will be more important after I cut the excess length off on these. But we're going to try it out. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I'm not too boring or goofy. I don't know. If I don't see your question pop up, hey, Teresa Dean. So, hopefully I'll be able to catch folks' comments on this. If not, just keep repeating it until I do see it. Maybe, I don't know. Post into hens. Cool. Thank you. I am trying to make some tongs for Miss Robyn for her kitchen. Okay, I might be able to do that out of this big stock. I think I'm going to swap over to some slightly smaller stock for this. 3/8 square instead of 1/2 inch round. Let's try that. But while I'm warming up, maybe I can make you a unicorn shoe. Maybe. Unicorn shoe shaped object anyhow. Right die of the hammer up here. Josh, they have to spit out rainbow lasers. Well, that's that fancy stuff, and I don't do well with that electronic gizmo jargon. We'll try something for you, though. Awesome. Aw, shucks. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I can tell I'm going to have to get me an assistant out here to read this as I'm doing it next time. One more light needed. For what? One more like needed for what? Oh, I got 2. Okay. I see. 3 people in here and one more like needed. I don't know who all's in here. I saw Incense Shop and now Miss Teresa Dean. I wonder who the third is. It's probably my wifey poo. She's in the house. Alright. So I don't know, that might be a little bit nice for a nightmare shoe there. Let's see. Might work. Let's get the hot cut out. Pat it out. Where did I put it? How long did it? But as my wife will be the first to tell you, my sense of time is warped. There goes your horseshoe. So asking me how long is probably pointless. Sorry, Teresa. I'm probably going to be here for an hour or so. I'm actually right-handed, but I can use either when I'm swinging the hammer, but I'm stronger with my right hand, and my tong hand is my off hand. But that said, when I was a kid, my grandmother beat me anytime I picked up something with my left hand. So that kind of changed the game for me, made me right-handed. My mom always suspected I was left-handed. Let's see. Derpa 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 der. Let's not drop it on the paracord. And was, see it? Crap, how do you get that back? Comment, maybe? No, can't get it back. Oh well. Only got part of that. I'll go back and look at the comments later. Again, I guess. I saw you've always been left-handed, basically, was the gist I got, I think. Stuff's moving, winds are blowing. Wind blowing's good. Means I'm not going to die of heat stroke out here. I did tell y'all I'm not a farrier. I think I told you. I might not have. Anyways, before I get frustrated playing around before the show, let's get this show actually on the road and work on these tongs. So we are starting with 3/8 square stop. Fireworks. I don't know if I've ever showed you guys, hang on to get seasick. Don't think I've ever showed you guys this little setup for this forge. So you do not do cows or horse hooves. Correct. Not if I can help it. My idea of shoeing a horse is yelling boo at it from the gate. Let's see. So we have too much light. We have right here is my hair dryer going into the forge fire pot. There's my little fire control right there. Rheostat dimmer switch. Okay, anyways, now before I make anybody really motion sick, let's get you put back where you belong on my tripod of doom. Laugh out loud. Yeah, you're gonna think laugh out loud when somebody starts going harfing. Okay, we're back in place, metal top. Let's do this. So, some thunder in the background going on. That might be a blessed event. Okay. Use coal. Coal. Actually, I use a blend of soft and hard coal, or anthracite for the hard and bituminous for the soft. I typically use about an 80-20 blend, and the reason for that is because hard coal burns a lot hotter, but it has to have constant air. With this hair dryer going, I don't have to worry about that, but my usual setup's a hand crank blower, and I'm lazy, like I mentioned earlier, so I don't have to work as hard with the hand crank to have the fire. With the soft coal in there, it'll burn pretty much on its own. Okay, very cool. Yeah. So, taking it from square to round with a taper at the tip. Rounding, rounding. Every damn planishing. Okay. So we're going to get another heat. How did you get into doing this craft? Okay. Short story is, when I was 16, I got into it because my father handed me a fantasy novel that the main character was a demigod, and he made a sword using meteorite and a volcano for a heat source. I kind of cried BS on that a little bit. He said, well, go to the library and research it, boy. I did, found out that it was totally possible, not very comfortable, but you can do it. You might die afterwards due to the different fumes and such that you're going to inhale doing it, if you can find a vent low enough that's cool enough for you to survive. So I said, all right, how's a poor little boy from Kentucky going to do this? And my very first forge was actually a hole dug in the backyard, a pit, kind of like a campfire pit, that I dug in the backyard. Lord of the Rings type stuff. Exactly. So what I did was dug this pit in the clay in the backyard, dug 2 channels coming off of that, and another hole. Kentucky, I was born in Kentucky. Cool. Let's see, the little tiny town was Reed, halfway between Henderson and Owensboro. That's where I graduated high school. But, so the pit and the hole in the ground, you've got the pit, the tunnels, hole, piece of inner tube across that hole. You step down, and it pushes air back and forth through the tunnels into the fire pot. Western part of Kentucky. Absolutely. I know where you're talking. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's see, we were right across the river from Evansville, Indiana. In fact, Owensboro, I believe, just had a whiskey building, storage building fall down. So they were in the news recently. Let's see, that got hot where I didn't want to. Sort of pull that so I can mash on it a bit. Offset. Now that hole in the ground, it was awesome for a couple of things. Not real awesome for where's my tongs? So hole in the ground is where we're at, right? You push and pull the air through it. And it blew a little bit worse than it sucked. No, that was my first forge. My very first anvil was actually the camshaft out of a big tractor trailer diesel truck. So, and I did that for a little bit until I could save up. Actually, I dealt with that stuff kind of till we moved out here to Virginia. Right after I got hitched, I moved out here with my wife, her hometown area, actually next door to her parents, which is fun. It's awesome. That point, I obtained a couple of anvils. The very first one here was a Harbor Freight anvil. By that time, I was about 5 years, almost 5 years into doing some blacksmithing. And getting tired of plunking along, right? So that's kind of how that all started, right? Let's see. For the other side, we're going to offset that down before we roll it up. So that's one jaw area there. Let's see, what else? I was talking about the first forge. From that humble beginnings, which if you want to do some research on it, that first type of forge, it's about as primitive as you can get. It's called an African ground forge. The blower, you stepped on the inner tube, like I say, and it pushed air back and forth through those tunnels and in through the fire. That first fires, I was just using hardwood, charcoal, pallets, whatever I could find. Mostly pallets and firewood. Then when I moved out here, I discovered coal and found out what a miraculous substance it is for a blacksmith. It takes half as much actual coal as it does for some of the other stuff. Hardwood charcoal takes twice as much of that as it does coal that has the same size fire. We heated the wrong area up. And that's no fun, you know? That is really, really no fun. Oh, from that first forge I got here, I was in a lean-to building with a tarp across the front, and that really sucked the first winter here. And then moved into a 10 by 12 side building on the side of the mechanic's garage that my wife's aunt, who lives on the other side of us, the downhill side, they owned. They let me be in there for approximately 16 years working there, and out here at Smithfield Plantation in Blacksburg, Virginia. And let's see, now I'm up to getting booted out of there and making a shop up here by the house, which on Facebook I have maybe all sod house. Well, yeah. Yeah, I've thought about it. See, I spent a good bit of time in Oregon up on a cattle ranch that our family owned and experienced some of that sod house living. And it's okay, but this works. And I don't have any large scale equipment or anything. I'm just doing it all via my own two hands, which, you know, work okay most of the time. But on Facebook, I think I posted a couple of pictures, or I actually did a video yesterday of a small, quick tour right around my poles, my locust posts that I have in the ground that will become the new let's see, it'll be a 20 by 22 foot shop. And it'll be 12 to 13 feet tall before I run into any boards above the head. So what that'll allow me to do is actually get a good, tall, strong power hammer in here and actually have a proper bloody shop. But that kind of brings us up to date and wraps up the almost 21 years I've been doing blacksmithing, and I'm only 37. I know I'm a baby to most of the folks in the homesteading groups, but you know, it is what it is, and I definitely teach babies. I've got 7 kids myself, most of which want to learn Daddy's craft. You're still young, lad. Yes, I am. Of course, you know, it's a hard profession too, so it makes you old. But anyway, my daughter would be your age now. Very cool, very cool. Would be. What do you mean would be? Has she passed? You know what, Teresa, if you want to message me that information later, that would be okay too, instead of talking about it on here for you. If that's the case. Yes, 12 years ago. Wow. Hey, Robyn, looky, it's 1/2 of your kitchen tongs almost made up. I know, about that gum time, huh, Robyn? Okay, Teresa. I am sorry to hear about that. But what was I talking about? I can't remember. I'm at work. Well, what are you doing at work? Shh. Nobody tell anybody she's at work, okay? It's okay, Josh. You still get a big hug if you come to the conference in October, okay? If you want a hot, sweaty hug from a blacksmith. Some people don't want that stuff. Big gummy. Let's see. Different hammers. My lips are sealed until I need a black hammer. Too funny. Too funny. I think they're rounded, aren't they? They're rounded for a hot dog that way? Maybe. Maybe, something like. Okay. So I need to figure out how long these need to be. Robyn, you still here? Or did you just pop in and go? Stuff I make looks a lot like this. warped but functional. Stuff my Irish buddy makes looks like this. Awesome. Professionally made even. If you have a farrier or a blacksmith in your lives and you need a hammer, he's a little overbooked right now, but message Finnan Liam Christie. He does some awesome work. I'm so happy with that hammer. And he is, for the work that he's doing, he's way undercharging. What that thing is, I didn't get to read it all. Dang it. You know, if I turned it back the other way, I could probably read those messages, but you wouldn't see much of nothing, apparently. I'm told that I have to do these things on landscape, not portrait. So, you know, otherwise it looks funky. I think that because I'm in the video, it's going to look funky no matter what, but, you know. No clue on that tech stuff. Okay. Yeah, well, you're probably more up on it than I am. I mean, you at least had a digital camera to send somebody. I can't even begin to have conversations about that stuff. If it moves or needs to move, I've got a hammer to make it move, so that's about as far as technological as I get. Jason's been talking about those who don't go to college. Well, I'm one of them. I went for 3/4 of a semester and got the job done. I found a missus while I was there. And that's what the goal was. To go to school, find my wife, get married, have a big family, and not worry about school anymore. Well, we're there now. This August will be 17 years for us. And I wonder how in the world I snatch her all the time, so. Let's see. I think most guys are kind of like that, though. Most of them wonder how in the world they got so lucky. If they're smart, they're wondering that anyways. Because it's a very rare thing that the guy is a better person than the female. I know my wife's the saint between the two of us, and I've definitely got a tilted, crooked, tarnished halo and one wing burnt up on the tips from playing in fire. So, just to paraphrase a country song for you. Whoosh! This humidity is about to kill me. Alright. What am I doing on this tong now? I'm rounding out the reins of what'll be the tong or the hand grip part. They are going to be more blacksmith tong based than your traditional kitchen tongs, Robyn. I hope that works for you. But, you know, which means it'll look more like this rather than have them funky scissor ends on the end of it. They're always too small for a fat man's hands anyhow. Not that I'm real fat, but, you know. They're always too dadgum small for my hands. Chopsticks. Close! I have made hair sticks that would double as chopsticks if that was sanitary, but, you know. let's see, I think that's probably long enough for most hot dog fetching casts. We're going to use what's called a hot cut hardy. Basically, it's a splitting wedge that comes to a real sharp point. There's this type, there's a secondary type that's not as sharp. It's sharpened to one side. This one's centrally sharpened, comes to a peak from both sides. That one that it comes over to one side, that's called a butcher, because it makes more exact cuts, finer cuts. This is just a hot cut, no, nothing super fancy. Let's see. I don't sweat myself silly here. I got a jug of water over here. While this is heating up, I'm going to grab some. And I'm going to take me too. Get down in my squirrel cage fan breeze here. So this morning I had the opportunity to run over to Smithfield and get a new bellows. Well, new to us bellows. It's about 10 years old, but it's in perfect condition. It's missing a few parts, but being the head blacksmith, I get to take that in and figure out how to put it to use. I'm going to wind up hanging it up in the rafters and working some piping over into the forge and put it into use, because right now we've got, like I say, a hand crank blower, and it's not correct time period for our historic plantation setting, which the historic plantation time period for this place is between 1773 and the Civil War, just after the Civil War actually. So yeah, that's like what, 1860, 1865, and we have a hand crank blower from 1902, so not historically accurate. So we're going to do better very shortly. Hopefully in the next week or so. I really want to have it up and in place by August 1st, but Saturday when I go out there, I'll probably take the stuff to do a little bit of video in. Saturday I'm working with one of the last workshops with some of the apprentices for the summer. It'll be kind of fun. Probably just do basic, simple stuff. I might have them start making some screws. Last Saturday I taught them how to make nails. So, which to make a historic screws, you make up a nail, you put a slot through the head of it, and then you make sure you've got a round nail form on the back side of it, and you just tap it. Or rather, you put it through the tap and die. I always get mixed up on which end is the tap and which side's the die. So we're going to cut most of the way through. Grab these elusive tongs I kept stepping on. We're going to break the rest of the way off. And we're going to set that hot end away. Pull the hot cut out. And we're going to hold this like so, and dress up that ragged cut end. So that Odessa doesn't grab hold of these and cut herself, right? Or Miss Robyn. Anyway, I'm going to heat that back up a bit. do with that is kind of have the tong come down like this, the jaw, kick over at a 45, and then kick down, and then on that handle have it swell out just a little bit towards the back end of the handle. And we'll see if I can accomplish that. How long does it say I've been on? A little over a half hour, almost 40 minutes. Okay, so I get this one done. I'm probably going to cut this video short at that, just because, I don't know. It is the first video, and it's getting a little long-winded, and I'm getting hot and need to take a break. So, when I get this last shaping done, I think I'm going to stop for the day. Well, not for the day, but for the moment, and take about a 20-30 minute break. Then I'll probably pop on Facebook for the other jaw. Facebook or Instagram, one. What? Went the wrong way, dummy. Just a touch. Make sure I get all those hard, rugged, rough edges gone. Okay, so yeah, the first top half of my water barrel is hotter than blazes from sitting in the sun. But, you know, it might look a little bit like something now. So, then we'll punch or drill a hole. I'll probably punch it just for quickness and make a lip for it. But now the other side will do we may hold the hot dog between two of them. Yeah, it might work. Anywho, that's that side done, and I need to take a rest period. So we're going to cut this off, and I'm going to go over to Facebook. We'll do Facebook Live for the other side of these tongs after a break. So thank you guys so very much for subscribing and for liking the video and for spending some time with me. You know, I hope I answered some questions in my my little bit of bio that Teresa, you asked me. So without further ado, I'll sign off. Yes, there we go. You're welcome, Miss Robyn.